Chapter 30 Government and Economic Development. When India became independent on 15th August 1947, the economy of our country was very poor. Taking the country on the right track was a huge task before the leaders of our country. When the first independent government was formed in 1950, the then government decided to adopt the system of planned development for tackling the problems of poverty, rising prices and unequal incomes. Thus, the Planning Commission was constituted on 15th March 1950. The Prime Minister is the ex officio chairperson of the Planning Commission. The functions of the Planning Commission are as follows: assessing resources of the country, formulating plan for effective and balanced utilization of the country's resources, identifying the objectives of our economic policy, examining the extent of utilization of resources and the progress of the plans, supervising fair distribution of benefits of development to the largest number of people. 5-year plans. 12 5-year plans have been made so far by different governments in India, but to some reasons 6 annual plans were made. The 1965 Indo-Pakistan War, severe drought, price rise, devaluation of currency and reduction of resources available for planning purposes resulted in the formulation of 3 annual plans between 1966 and 1969. The 5th 5-year plan was terminated, which paved way for an annual plan in 1979 to 1980. Similarly, the 8th 5-year plan could not come into effect as a result of the fast-changing political situation at the center. This led to 2 annual plans between 1990 and 1992. Agriculture. Agriculture is the basis of the Indian economy. It provides us with food like wheat and rice and raw materials like cotton and jute for industries. Agricultural products like spices, sugar and tea are also important export items. Increase in agricultural production. Green Revolution. The Green Revolution was also the result of 5-year plan, which helped to increase the agricultural production by introducing farmers to modern agricultural machinery, high-yielding variety HYV seeds, fertilizers and pesticides and irrigation. Let us read about them. Modern agricultural machinery. New agricultural machinery like tractors, sowing machines, threshers and harvesters were introduced. High-yielding variety seeds. Due to introduction of high-yielding variety of seeds, the agricultural output has increased manifolds. Fertilizers and pesticides. To increase the fertility of land, the use of fertilizers was encouraged. The government has established fertilizer manufacturing units in Sindri, Trombay, Neyveli, Rourkela and Nangal. Irrigation. A large part of agricultural land, about 60%, is still dependent on rainfall for irrigation. Delayed or insufficient monsoon often results in crop failure and less productivity. Moreover, HYV seeds require abundant water. Therefore, the government has taken various initiatives to increase irrigational facilities. Industries. In our modern world, industries play a vital role in the economic development of a nation. When India became independent, very few industries like textiles and sugar existed. Heavy industries were more or less non-existent. Industries contributed only 10% to the Indian economy in 1950 to 1951. Industrial growth. Our government realized that if India has to progress, it must establish a strong industrial base. The government of India took a decision as early as 1956 that it would follow a policy of mixed economy. Many large basic industries like iron and steel, cement, fertilizers, coaches and manufacturing factories were established by the government. These industries require huge investment and expert management to run them. Private people may not have that much money to put to risk. Therefore, the government took the initiative. There have also been attempts to have joint ventures where the ownership and management is shared by both the government and the private sectors. Cottage and small-scale industries are also an essential part of our economy. They produce exquisitely woven cloth and a variety of artistic and beautiful handicrafts and goods. Village industries bodies, boards and corporations are set up to guide and help small industries. Small industrial training and service institutes are established to provide training and employment facilities to the people. Regulating economic activities. The government has an important role to play in the market. It has to ensure that there are no unfair practices that harm the interests of consumers, producers or workers. The government has formulated and enforced many laws to protect the interests of various groups. Law on minimum wages. The Minimum Wages Act ensures workers, especially farm laborers, construction or factory workers, domestic workers, etc., are not exploited by their employers and forced to work at poor wages. The Act lays down a minimum amount that has to be paid to workers. This amount is increased every few years. Law on safety measures in workplaces. This law makes it compulsory to have safety measures such as fire alarms, emergency exits, etc. in workplaces. The government enforces this law in many ways. For example, it employs inspectors to check safety procedures in factories. Law against child labor. As per the 2001 census, there are over 12 million child laborers between 5 and 14 years of age in India. In 2006, the government banned employment of children below 14 years of age as domestic help or in tea shops, restaurants, businesses, etc. Regulating prices of essential commodities. The government also makes sure that the prices of essential commodities, that is sugar, food grains, etc., do not rise beyond a certain level. Among other things, the Essential Commodities Act allows governments to control prices at which such commodities can be bought or sold and to maintain stocks of the commodities to guard against any shortage. The Public Distribution System (PDS) provides food items at low rates to people below the poverty line. Standards on goods. In order to ensure that consumers are not put to risk by poor quality appliances or products, the government has enforced the law that requires all goods meet prescribed standards. Social sector. It is the duty of our government to provide education, sanitation, health service, housing, drinking water, etc. to the citizens. Let's know what our government has done and is doing presently for the welfare of society. Education. The government launched the Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan in 2001. This program encourages and promotes universal elementary education for all children in the age group of 6 to 14, irrespective of their caste and gender. Sanitation. Our government has launched several incentive-based programs like Nirmal Gram Puraskar 2002 to promote rural sanitation. In urban areas, recycling and reuse of sewage is encouraged. Health. The government started the National Rural Health Mission in 2005 to provide better health care facilities to the rural population throughout the country. Similarly, the National Urban Health Mission was launched to provide health care for the people living in slums in cities. Employment. Our government started the National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme in 2006. The scheme provides legal guarantee of 100 days employment every year to adult members of rural areas below poverty line. Housing. To improve the conditions of the poor in the urban slums, programs like Basic Services to the Urban Poor (PSUP) and Integrated Housing and Slum Development Programs (IHSDP) have been initiated. These aim to provide housing facilities, basic services and other civic amenities to the urban poor. In rural areas, Indira Awas Yojana was launched to meet the shortage of housing